Hello and welcome back to my Dandelion Diaries. I wanted to do a quick check-in of all of the planners and journals that have stuck with me for the first quarter of 2025. So technically quarter one check-in, 𝗬𝗄 𝗦𝘃𝗽 kind of situation. Also, I apologize for the state of my hands in this video. I had a fight with a dirt hill and that's a story for a different time. Anyways, I'm going to just get started and check out the timestamps in the description if you're interested in any one specific planner. I'm going to talk a bit about the planner, what I use it for, and either why I'm sticking with it or why I have decided to set it aside for now at least. But yeah, let's just hop right into this. So the first book I want to talk about is my business planner. This is a 𝗦𝘂𝗽𝗽 𝗬𝗄 A6 with a weekly supplement and then also a A6 notebook, just a grid notebook here on the back. I've been housing all of this together just like this in this 𝗦𝘂𝗽 leather cover. Pretty sure it's the leaf green color. And this has been great. One thing that I am kind of realizing 3 months into using this book is I'm not enjoying having the weeklies being separate, but everything else has been really nice, especially I guess the monthlies, and it's a good amount of space for what I need this for. But I think maybe in the future, I may want to jump into something like a B6 that has the weeklies already intertwined with it. I don't really know exactly what I want, but I don't think this is my perfect piece for a business work planner situation. It does have everything I need, but it's 3 separate books that I've smashed into one cover. So I think there's probably something else out there I could use that would work better for me functionally. But as of this point in the year and me using this little baby, I'm not going to be making any changes because it is working. I just feel like I have to do too much, like it's taking too much time to use this for what I want to use it for. But I do like that I can keep all of the books together in this cover. I think that's really nice. I'm also not going to flip through this because it has businessy things in it that I don't really feel like sharing on camera. But as for now, I'm still keeping up with this baby. And I see myself finishing this one out, at least for the year. Right now, I don't feel like I need something else, but maybe if something gets produced and I'm willing to try it out and spend my money on it, I might try something bigger with everything combined into one book. But yeah, that's all I really want to say about this one. The next book I want to talk about is my Dungeons and Dragons notebook / journal. Originally, I started the year with this little guy here. This is a Erin Condren just spiral notebook. I was taking lots and lots of notes in here, and then as a gift from my brother, he decided to get me this little guy. So this is, I guess, I don't even know where he got it from or because it was a gift, but I love this as my Dungeons and Dragons journal. It's so fantastic. It is a binder system. So eventually I want to get to a point where there is tabs and I can basically tab out like the different sessions as well as like different character plot points. I have a long list of everything I want to add to this journal now, but I love that it's a binder system and it came with lots of paper and paper refills, and I definitely think this is going to be really fun to keep up with for the rest of the campaign that I'm in. And also it's reusable because it's a binder, so I can just take these out, put them in like an archiving system, and then go about my next campaign, whatever next campaign I end up being a part of. I wish I had a way to share where I got this, but again, it was a gift, so I have no idea. It's just such I don't know, it's just so cool because it's like detailed. It has this like gemstone thing here, and I'm very, very happy with this. And I think for future Dungeons and Dragons campaigns, I would consider doing a binder system over a notebook system now, just because of the functionality of this little guy. The only thing is, which is like a main gripe for me with any kind of rings, is the rings themselves, because when I'm writing I have to like rest my hand on the rings, or like over here, like if I'm writing on the back of the paper. And then same thing is it only can be opened like this. I can't turn it back on itself, whereas like this little, spiral notebook, I can flip it and then I only have to take up this much of space, versus like on the table we play on, this takes up a bit more space. So it's not that big of a deal to me. I love the size of the new journal, but I definitely think that I want to come up with a better system of how I organize my notes just in the future. But for now, I'm very, very happy with the upgrade to my Dungeons and Dragons journal. I guess it's going to be my Dungeons and Dragons binder now, but really, really happy with this change, and I'm excited to continue into the campaign using this, as I've been using it for, I think, 2 of the 3 months for the first quarter of the year already. The next book I want to talk about is my 5-year journal. Originally, I wanted to use this as a space to kind of do my journal entry and then a historical entry on the other side. So like on this side, do a historical entry, and on this side, do a journal entry, and just have the same question over and over each year and see how I would answer it. And I did nothing with this for the whole first pretty much 3 months of the year, except for one instance. So I ended up going to a coffee shop with my fiance, and I didn't really know what to work on because I had so many things I wanted to work on, and this was just kind of like the easiest pick for my brain. And I ended up going with just this book and a pen, and I made a pretty good dent, I'd say, in looking up the history from January 1st all the way through the 16th. And then I stopped because we'd already been there for like 3 hours or something, and we were going to go. But I think if I slowly chip away at entering in all of the historical data that I wanted to put in this, I think I will be happy with how far I would get. Considering one session, I made it pretty much halfway through a month. And I realize that sounds like, wow, that's a lot of time to only make it halfway through a month. But you have to realize, like, I'm pulling historical data and I'm answering a journal prompt, so it takes a bit of time to kind of sift through what I feel is necessary for me personally to write down. Obviously I couldn't write down, the history of the whole day for all of the countries of the world in this tiny little space, but it's been nice. I definitely see myself continuing to use this, but as for the first quarter of 2025, I feel like I have not done this book any justice, and I really hope that I can get back into it as the year goes on. So like, I'm really hoping my quarter 2 check-in for this is going to be a bit better of a chunk of entries kind of put down. Like, I'm hoping I'm going to make it at least halfway through the book by then, but we shall see. I definitely love the concept. I definitely love this book. This is luckily one of the older 5-year journals from Hobonichi with the original tome of paper, so I don't have any of the issues with like the bleed through or feathering or anything. So I'm going to cherish it, and if I don't end up completing what I want for this, I will likely reuse the paper for something else, like ink journaling or something else. But happy with this, going to try to continue. Kind of disappointed I haven't made as much progress as I wanted. After that, I have my reading journal. This is another one of the journals that I kind of introduced in the beginning of my 2025 𝗬𝗁𝗂𝗽𝗃. I've been using this journal since 2023, and spoiler, I haven't updated anything in this since the year started. So this book is kind of a use it as I wish, like kind of use it whenever I feel like it. I have several books I need to add in here. I have several kind of notes and things that I want to add to keep track of the books that I have read, but this isn't necessarily a priority type of book for me. I'm perfectly content with just the small snippets of keeping track of the books I read in my main journals. But this is like a nice little way to see a bigger, like a broader spectrum of what I was reading for that year. And I do want to use this book until it's finished, just because there's so many pages left in it. I feel bad just like starting something new when it's not something that needs to be a chronological or it doesn't have any kind of like specific layout. But I'm not a huge fan of this journal anymore, just because the binding, the paper isn't my favorite. I've since found things that I feel like are a bit better, but I want to keep using it. I'm still going to hold on to this. I'm still planning to go back in and add in the entries that I need to add, but ultimately I didn't use this at all in quarter 1 of 2025. So I don't know if this one would be one I would consider set to the side, but it does have plans to be used before the year's over, at least with updating the books that I read at the end of the year in 2024, and also the few books that I've read already in 2025. So it's in progress, but I didn't really use it at all in quarter 1. Next up, we have my garden journal. This is one of 3 Hobonichi weeks that I have been using for 2025. And as I announced, I think back in January, I've kind of set this book to the side. So this is one of the few books that I haven't really been keeping up with as much. I'm still keeping up with my precipitation and also my temperature tracking. I have not been doing this on a daily basis though. I've been going to Weather Underground and kind of looking at the historical weather data just because I'm not reaching for this anymore. I was surprised at the end of January with getting engaged, so I decided that I was not going to be doing too much gardening this year because I want to focus on wedding planning. And I have since pretty much just kind of barely been keeping up with entries, if at all. Like, I don't even think I finished any of the entries in March. I think I just kind of left it alone completely in March, which would have been the beginning of when I would plant the garden. But sadly, I'm setting this one to the side. I think I might just enter things in sporadically. I do want to keep track of the weather and precipitation just because that is something I look at year after year. And who knows, maybe as the year progresses, I will have more time and be able to start a fall garden. But as for spring, I'm not going to be doing anything extensive except for maybe like 1 or 2 plants. So I'm not going to be, I guess, as notes heavy, as plan heavy as I would have been in previous years with my garden journal. So kind of bittersweet on this one, but I need to make a priority where I need to make a priority, and this is definitely not one of the priorities for me. Then I have weeks 2 of 3. This is my Journal of Joy. That is another Hobonichi weeks. This is a Through the Purple Night, and this has been an absolute blast to keep up with. I feel like this is slowly becoming one of my favorite books to kind of update, just because it's only positive vibes in here. Like, this is only positiveness. It's only good things happening in here. I'm only writing down the things that I feel are joyful or make me feel happy or just bring a smile to my face. It's just been a really fun time entering in very small things that brought me joy. I did have a couple of weeks in March that I just was not, I guess, with my books as much because I was very busy in March. Oh my gosh. But I've definitely enjoyed keeping up with small entries of what's brought me joy daily through the year so far. And I'm excited to see like how this book progresses as the year goes, because I feel like as I continue to use it, there's going to be more and more things that are going to be added in, and it's going to be really fun to read back on. And yeah, I've had a lot of fun with this. I've loved keeping up with it for the first quarter of the year. I'm excited to keep keeping up with it. It's just been really great, and I love it. And now that I've started one, I kind of feel like I need to have one for future years too, but it's mainly I bought this because I love the cover and I need to use for it, and the use that I picked I am very, very, very happy with. And then the final Hobonichi Weeks 3 of 3 that I am using, this is the Hobonichi Sneaker Weeks Mega Leaf Green color or green color, I don't remember. And this is my health journal. I have been keeping up with this pretty well. In March, again, I kind of flopped off a little bit, but overall, quarter 1, this has been a staple. And I love how I've been using the, I guess, monthly sections as more of collections. So like the ones that are previous years and future years, I've been using for different collections of things. And then like the regular 2025 months, I've been doing a mood board with, and I've had a lot of fun kind of keeping up with that. Again, March was kind of an off month for me, but overall, the rest of these pages have been really nice to use, very easy to update for me, and just a really great reflection of my health, mental, physical, diet, exercise, like all of it has been really nice to kind of keep up with so far for quarter 1. And I definitely want to continue using this. I've had a health journal for several years now, and I definitely think that it's something that benefits me mentally and physically too. But I think I'm ready for a change in the weekly layouts. I don't know what exactly I want to do yet, but I'm going to try to test some stuff out here in the next few weeks and see what feels good. But overall, this has been a really great space for me mentally and physically to kind of keep track of myself. And I feel like it also keeps me accountable of what I'm doing, because I have all of these health goals and all of that for the year. And looking at this, it's like I can physically see, okay, you have these goals, but you're clearly not working hard enough for them, or you're clearly not moving fast enough or whatever. So quarter 1, I used it, and I used it for everything that I wanted to use it for. But I feel like as the year progresses, I'm going to be a bit better about keeping myself more accountable with my goals and using this book to kind of track the goals too. So I definitely love this. I will keep using it. It's a staple for me. I don't think I'm gonna get another sneaker weeks just because I've had so much, I don't know, I've had some problems with this one already. But I definitely love this size and will continue to use this size, if not from Hobonichi, then from other more boutique brands too. Then I have another journal here. This is my Magic of I 2025 journal. I've been trying to keep up with this as like a space to do my manifestation journaling. I'm not going to show you any of the writing I've done in here just because it has been very personal. But essentially I'm asking myself 3 questions. What do I manifest? What am I grateful for? And what do I release? And out of those 3 questions, I try to answer them daily and kind of script out my thought process on those things. So ultimately this has been really nice. I think I preferred the smaller one actually. I had a pocket size Magic of I book in 2024, and I don't know, I there's just something about that book that I keep trying to go back to in my brain, but space wise this is definitely what I need for those 3 questions to be able to answer them properly. But yeah, this has been a staple too for the first quarter. Again, I'm not going to show you writing, but I've been decorating all the pages with sticky club stickers, and I do like this. I will keep up with this, but again, it's not going to be really shown too much on this channel. But I highly recommend, if you've never done a gratitude journal, get something like a notebook or even a structured planner like this and just write out 1 sentence of what you're grateful for. Doesn't have to be anything earth-shattering. It can literally just be, I'm grateful I had salad today. I'm grateful for the sunshine. I'm grateful for the cold side of my pillow. Whatever. Like, it does not have to be earth-shattering. Just write something down that's positive that you're grateful for, and I promise you it's going to change your life, because it changed mine. And I'm just speaking from my own experience there. But yeah, this has been great. Definitely going to keep up with it, and I definitely love it a lot. Then I had my astrology kind of study duo, and I really am disappointed with myself with this. I have not done anything with this book. Okay, so like I wanted to start using it as a space to kind of document my astrology notes about daily transits and all of that kind of good stuff. Had very great intentions, literally set up the entire first 2 months of the book like before the year even started. And once the year started, I got so busy, I just did not set aside enough time for myself to kind of practice the astrology that I wanted to practice. And I'm okay with that. I know that this isn't necessarily a planning forward, but more of like a documentation on a daily notes basis, so I can go back and fill in everything. And I like that I'm only a quarter in, and I've kind of realized that, okay, I haven't really spent as much time on this as I really wanted to. What can I move around in my day-to-day schedule so I can still spend time on this, because I'm passionate about the astrology. So although I haven't used it for the first quarter of the year, I have it all set up. It's all ready to go. All I have to do is spend a few minutes a day, or maybe once a week, sit down with it and kind of fill in the notes, and I'll be good as gold. But as of right now, I have not been as faithful to this book as I had intended to be. I do enjoy the honeycomb book that I got as a companion to the Take a Note planner, which is what this big one is here. But I will say I recently discovered something called Astro Gold. It is a software program for Mac iOS, I think, only. And it was a expensive purchase, but it is like a lifetime purchase, if that makes sense. Like, I have it and I can pull all of the astrological information from years prior to years forward in it, and I think it's fantastic. And it even provides interpretations and direct aspects, and I think it's really an awesome tool. And since I got that on my computer, I don't use the honeycomb planner at all. Yeah, it's kind of a shame, because I really love the concept of this, especially because it's like direct with my signs and my birthday and my chart and everything. But with the Astro Gold software, since it's on the computer, it's a little bit more streamlined. It's a little bit more pull information and go kind of situation. So I haven't really been using the honeycomb book, but I'm hoping that with Astro Gold, I will be able to catch up with my Take a Note astrology notebook here faster. So yeah, didn't use this at all in quarter one, is what I'm trying to say, but I am going to use it because this is something that I do really enjoy and am passionate about. Next up is my ink journal. So this is actually a new one. I didn't end up finishing the old journal just because I only had a few pages left and I was really itching to get into the kind of newer paper from Hobonichi in the notebooks, especially the blank paper, which is what this is. And let me tell you, this is so awesome. I have had so much fun just kind of documenting all of the inks and all of the new pens I've gotten and like the chroma shaders and currently inked things. And it's just been a really great time to kind of keep up with my ink and pen hobby. But this is not the only pen and ink journal thing I have now. So after watching, I want to say it was one of Handmade by Lorelai's video, she was talking about a pen logging system, and I decided I need to do that. So I ended up buying some clear journals, and I'm probably going to make a separate video about this, but I ended up literally making a sheet of paper for every single pen that I have in my collection, and I've just been writing out like all of the different like pen pairings I've done with them, and it's been really nice to kind of like see, okay, this is what I'm going with in terms of like what pen I've used last. I think that's what I'm trying to say. So I've really enjoyed this system. These are Kikuyo Campus binders, A5 size, and I've been filling it with the Kikuyo Campus business paper, and I've been slowly updating all of my pen collection with a page, like one page, and then going through whatever inks I have in my records from my ink notebooks and kind of filling them in that way. So ink system has slightly been updated, at least for the pen system, but for the ink journal, like what I'm doing on, I guess, more regular basis, this has been working a lot better, and I've had a lot more fun kind of keeping track of all the different inks and stuff in here. Okay, now let's talk about the all-in-one group, which I think I've talked about this quite a lot now. So this group started with 3 planners. I had the 𝗦𝘃𝗃𝗃 cousin, the A5 Nisha Fernando Designs Journey Planner, and the A5 Wonderland 222 all-in-one. I have since kind of discarded these 2 and kept up with the 𝗦𝘃𝗃𝗃 cousin. However, I do feel myself being pulled back into the Journey Planner. There's just something about the layout of this book that is so perfect to me. I don't know if it's the meal planning in it. I don't know if it's the trackers in the front. There's just something about the setup and the layout of this book that I am just drawn into. So I think in quarter 2, I'm going to attempt to only use this book and see how it goes. And if I can get over the paper issues that I was having in here. Primarily, the issues I was having was the paper. It's the Sanson batch that's not the best, so a lot of my fountain pen inks and fountain pens bleed on it, and it's just very frustrating. So if I can get past my paper woes and use this for a quarter of the year or a couple of months, I think I might be able to kind of salvage the love that I have for this book. And in the end, worst case, I may just end up franken-plannering like 3 planners together with these 3 here and rebinding them into a new system or something. I don't know. But this has been on my mind constantly. So although I only really used it for the first month of the year, I only used it for January primarily, I must say this book has been on my mind so much just because of the layouts in it. I don't know, there's something about my mind wanting to be drawn back in and just kind of like, okay, everything is all in this one book. I don't need anything else. And I think that's what's really pulling me more towards this again. But again, with the fountain pen thing, there's just this blockage with the paper that I've just been having a lot of hard starts with, literally like a fountain pen. I'm having hard starts with the paper with this. So we shall see. I'm probably going to try it out again and see how I feel. But for quarter 1 purposes, I only used both of these books primarily for the first month. I only used these 2 for January, whereas for the 𝗦𝘃𝗃𝗃𝗃 cousin, I've kept up with it for pretty much a lot more, like a lot more. Yeah, well, I may make a separate video on these three just because these three have been, I guess, probably the primary bunch that I've had the most kind of change with. But ultimately, quarter one status wise, I've been keeping up with this baby and I've put these two babies to the side. There you go. And like I mentioned in my original 𝗤𝗄 𝗫𝗍 with the beginning of the year, I do have a Dear Diary book. I'm still in the same Sterling Ink A5 notebook for this. It takes me forever to fill these up for some reason when I'm doing the Dear Diary bits, primarily because I write a lot in other journals, but this is like a space for me to just kind of brain dump, emotion dump, idea dump. Like, it's just a blank space for me to use for literally whatever. But it's mainly like a Dear Diary situation, like, Dear Diary, today I was really upset and I need to write out all of my feelings. So that is where I put all of that, because I feel like if I put, I don't know, my brain works really well in sections. Like, if I feel like I put a lot of my emotional rantings into a space that is supposed to be a bit more functional, it doesn't really work well for me for some reason. But if I put it into a space that is primarily used for those emotional rantings, it does great. So there's that. Final thought-wise, I'm very happy with the planner selections I made for 2025 still. I think dropping 3 books out of all of the ones that I've been using has been okay. Like I said, I'm still kind of itching to go back into the journey planner, but we shall see how my paper kind of obstacle happens with that. But I'm really proud of myself for kind of keeping up with all of the goals that I've set for all of these books, and also all of the goals that I've kind of set for myself this year. I feel like quarter one, I've achieved so much already, and I'm so incredibly grateful, and I just am excited to see what else happens as the year goes. I truly appreciate any kind of support you guys have given me already for 2025. I am blown away. I definitely think this year is going to be a big year for fountain pens and inks, just because I'm really just deep diving into the rabbit hole of bespoke pens right now. And I'm also having a lot of fun with different ink pairings, because I don't know, there's something about that right now in my brain that's just, it's scratching the itch that's there. But yeah, I definitely am happy with all of the books I have. I do think there's a few changes I would make in hindsight, but overall, I'm proud of myself, and that's what's important, I think, for me at least. Anyways, I hope you're doing well with your planners. I'd be happy to chat with you down in the comments about any of the planners you're still using, any changes you've made, any new discoveries. I feel like this is such a fun way to kind of check in with yourself and see, okay, what works and what's not working. But yeah, I wish you the best, be blessed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.